All right, Coach. You closed out homecoming weekend with a 48-24 victory over Midwestern State, snapping the two-game skid and back on the right track. Just talk to me about how your team performed throughout the day and just the game as a whole.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. I mean, we played well on both sides of the ball. You know, we knew offensively what they do. They're going to sit and throw it 55 times like they did, or 60 times, and so you got to defend that. The ball came out pretty quick most of the time too, so the pass rush wasn't something you're going to live with, and get home a lot to the quarterback. The ball was just out so fast. But they did some good things against us on offense and things. But we matched that on our offense and did some really good things too and stuff. So yeah, I was really excited about the way we played. We played well on special teams, minus the punt return we gave up on that, but blocked a couple punts, and I had the onside kick return for a touchdown. I guess it's a kickoff return for a touchdown, but one you don't see too often. But just proud of their efforts. I thought we played very physical football defensively. Did a great job of hitting some guys in the pass game that probably caused a few more drops and some things down the road with how we played. But and then I was really impressed with the O-line this week. We played physical up front and blocked the run game and the pass game very well, and kept quarterbacks clean, and that was key going into it. We focused on third downs in this week in practice, and we were better on third downs. Our offense didn't get to third down a lot. We had a lot of good, a lot of success on first and second down, so that helped out too. But overall, very happy with the performance, and always things to clean up, but you never apologize for a win. You go out and you take them, and you keep getting better, and that leads us into another week of preparation for Sul Ross.
Let's talk about your quarterbacks. We talked about this last week. You complimented both of them and how they bring unique things or aspects of leadership on different ways to the team. Just what stood out to you about both your quarterbacks' performances this weekend?
Yeah, they were both very solid in what we asked them to do, and I think Braden had 3 touchdown passes, and just does a great job of getting the ball out on time and doing things that we need him to do. And then, Caden does what Caden does. He had a touchdown pass. He had a long run. I think he played 2 plays and had 2 touchdowns. The first 2 plays he was in. So I'll take that every time. But they just do so many things well. Both of them do, and so we're excited about what they bring to the table. But very impressed with them. Again, I'll throw it out to the O-line. I thought they did a really good job of doing what they had to do to keep them clean in the pass game, and obviously opened up the run game for us as well with it. But excited about those guys and how they handle their business.
And going forward, how you take that film from the quarterbacks and continue to work that scheme around both QBs, if that's the plan in games going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of them have earned opportunities to play, and it's kind of crazy. You look back to last year, and those 2 guys were neck and neck for the job, and then Caden took an injury and was out 4 or 5 weeks, and that's when Braden took off. And then this year you kind of seen it where Braden took an injury and Caden's continued to develop, and I commend him, because that could be easy to not work as hard when you're the number 2 quarterback, and that wasn't the case with him in the weight room, in his preparation, all the things he's done. So they both have put themselves in position to play for us, and we'll continue to use them both, because they're both huge weapons, and they do things equally as good, but some of them they just do things separately that running the offense as a whole, or running with the football, different things that they bring different strengths to the table, and we'll continue to utilize those.
Seems like this is the first week in a while that the Rams have really returned to form on defense. It seems like they just were dominant the entire night. Like you were saying on special teams, outside that one punt return, it seemed like Midwestern State just struggled to move the ball, even with that high-powered offense. Yeah. Just talk about your defense and how they have managed to just come back to themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I think just manage, weather the storm a little bit. That's what it comes down to. I thought, you look at the numbers, and they still had a lot of yards against us, but yards don't win games, points do, and keeping them out of the end zone and doing things like that is what we focused on. And defensively, we got a good group. It's crazy. We played, I think, 5 air raid teams so far. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing the team hand the ball off and try to run a little bit, and wishful thinking we get lined up and do that a little bit. So that'll be good. To hopefully get a chance to do that. But yeah, we're a physical group on defense. We really are, and it just we've only seen one-sided stuff, from the air raid, and you can only play air raid so many ways. And when you play 5 of them this early in the season, there's going to be good film about what you do. So continuing to switch around some things and make adjustments. I mean, things that Midwestern did to us on Saturday, we have to adjust to now moving forward. The successes they had, that's what other air raids are going to do when we play them. So we'll have to continue to make some changes, but really happy with the development of these players. We replaced 7 guys on all conference players off that defense from last year that are gone. So replacing 7 of them, still have the good depth that we have in those, a lot of those positions is something that's good here. Recruiting high school players and developing high school players has helped us out. But very impressed with it. I thought they played very physical this week on defense, and that's something that's been big for us.
You play Sul Ross State next, is a new member to the conference. Haven't seen much from them yet. Of course, that's a big step up that they've taken. What do you expect from those guys this weekend?
Their best game. That's what we get. Within our conference, we're going to get everybody's best game on things, and they're making improvements. I mean, the score doesn't look like it sometimes, but you watch their film. They have some success. They were in a ball game this week, had a chance to win against Western New Mexico, and the energy they had and they played with, you could see that. And Coach Hayes, Lee Hayes, their football coach, they're the new coach this year, who's has a ton of experience, a lot of Division I experience as a football coach. He brings a new style to it, and they're a physical football team. They're learning still. They're learning under a new staff. So we're going to get their best effort, and we got to go out and play well, and that's all 3 phases. And hopefully we continue to do what we're doing. One person I would like to point out is Stephon Forbes, our punter. He has been so dynamic for us this year. I think last week he averaged 47 yards a punt, and this week he only averaged like 36, but I think 4 of them were inside the 20. He had a lot of pin punts, and the guy was just outstanding dynamic in the punt game for us. So excited about what he's done, and continue to play well in that part of it, and limit, change the field position. He's done that for us, and he's allowed our defense. You talked about the defense earlier. He's allowed our defense to take over, with them pinned back quite a bit. So very proud of him and his efforts in the punt game and what we've done so far too.
Coach, talk to me about Cameron Dishler. It seems like every time he touches the ball, something crazy is going to happen. And just on Saturday, he had 2 very long runs, and both stopped him just a little bit short than the end zone.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about him, and then also that package you have him running, taking the direct snap and doing what he does.
Yeah, he's such a physical football player in what he does. He's a punishing runner. He's probably one of the hardest workers on our team, if not the hardest worker on our team. I'd take 100 of Cameron Dishler. He's just one of those guys that does everything right. But he's a really good football player. He's got top end speed as well. He continues to impress, but I'm not surprised with it. I saw it coming out of high school and what he's capable of doing, and he's come here and worked hard in the weight room and the off seasons and the classroom, all the things that we ask him to do, and he just has a good skill set, and so the short yardage stuff we use him for, he can, he's a punishing runner, like I said. He's going to go get that 2 yards that you need on 3rd 1, 3rd 2, and so it's an easy deal to add him to the direct snap, because by doing that you're getting the extra blocker as well, because usually quarterbacks don't block a whole lot of people in the run game. So adding the extra blocker with him taking direct snap has been good for us, and we'll continue to do that. He kind of replaced Chad Ferris a little bit. Chad was doing that for us as well out of it, but we got a good 1-2 punch there when Chad's back too. So excited about him, and like I said, he's one of the hardest working guys you're going to be around. I'm trying to get him to not jump over people and try to stop the leaping and the hurdling, but he's a competitor and plays very hard.
And then my last question for you: we already talked about the defense as a whole. It sounded like they played a little angry on Saturday. There's many times where I was up in the booth and all I heard was a whack, and then the whole crowd go, "Ooh!" I'm just like, "Oh, okay." But one guy I want to mention is Owen Seaver. Obviously, right now, as of today, the sack leader in the conference, among the leaders in the TFLs. Just talk to me about what his leadership and what he does for your defense, being able to be what seems to be everywhere, it seems.
Yeah, we can line him up in different places. Owen brings a lot of versatility to the defense. He's probably one of the strongest and smartest kids we've ever had as well. He's 450-pound bench press kid, and he's a 4.0 student. He's one of those kids that just understands football, comes from a great football family. His brother Rush played here when I was the defensive coordinator here my first year. So he just has a lot he brings to the table. He's not the real rah-rah leader that you think he would be, but people respect him when he does talk, and they respect how he works and goes at it. And he's just dynamic. And he was very physical. He's always going to be. But there was some extra into that game on Saturday. I thought there was some. Our guys felt some extracurricular stuff going on in the huddle, in the piles, and that kind of stuff that our guys weren't. At times didn't respond well to, but at times. Was happening to some of our best players, and I think that has a lot to do with trying to get our best players to react and get some penalties and that kind of stuff. And our guys, for the most part, held their own on that part. But he's just he's a really good football player, man. He's works hard, and he's physical. That's the one thing you can say about him. That kid is something else. We played him kind of all over the D-line on Saturday, and we'll continue to do so because he provides so much versatility for us and allows us to get into different blitzing schemes and packages and stuff by what he brings to the table.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you,
Coach.